Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's 9 o'clock on Friday, and you are checking out Friday Friends here on social media and on wherever you might get your podcasts from. I am Deb Burton, the host of Friday Friends and executive director of RI Elder Info. We maintain the most comprehensive resources for seniors, caregivers, and professionals in Rhode Island. And every week we bring you Friday Friends to help you get connected to the information and resources that will help you or someone you know remain independent. And for the entire month of November, we dedicate all of our episodes of Friday Friends to resources for our veterans and their family members in recognition of Veterans Day. You know, we love our veterans here, and we want to make sure that they get all of the information and resources that they need. That is something that is actually a critical mission for us. Now, as a nonprofit, we would not be able to do this without the support of our sponsors. So a huge thank you to Point 32 Health Foundation, to United Healthcare, and to Oak Street Health. Also, thank you to England Studio and 321 Media and all of our individual donors. We could not do this without your support. So huge thank you. So today, I am speaking with Mr. Jim Rice. He is in charge of the Office of Servicemember Affairs at the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. Welcome, Jim.
Well, it's great to be here, Deb.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for sharing some time with us this morning and getting an opportunity to put the message out.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for those folks who don't know, can you share what is the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, or CFPB? Tongue-tied this morning.
It can be a mouthful. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, really stood up in the wake of the 2007-2008 financial crisis. And our mission is that we aim to make consumer financial markets work for three entities: for consumers, for responsible providers, and for the economy as a whole. We protect consumers from unfair, deceptive, or abusive practices and take action against companies that break the law. We arm people with information, steps, and tools that they need to make smart financial decisions.
Okay. What kind of information do you guys have for the community? So how do you do those things?
It's a plethora of information, and the primary way to get the information is from our website. But it also involves the folks at the Bureau, like myself, other assistant directors, other leaders in the Bureau who get out and talk to organizations like yours and across the country and get that information out. But the information that's available at consumerfinance.gov, if you go to the consumer education section, there are sections on information for self, for helping others. There is still a section on the coronavirus and consumer complaints.
Okay.
And those topics under money topics run the gamut from auto and bank account information to reverse mortgages and student loans.
Yes, we love a good plethora of information here at RI Elder Info. I was checking out your website because I do download information from your website pretty regularly. You also have information that can be mailed out in hard copy that can be distributed to the public, which I absolutely love. And I saw that there is the Service Members Civil Relief Act. Can you share with everybody what is that?
The Service Members Civil Relief Act provides legal and financial protection to those who answered the call to serve, the veteran population that you alluded to in your opening. To those who answered that call, it provides extra protection for those service members in the event of legal or financial transaction that adversely affect their rights during military service and enables them to focus on the mission. Now, it's primarily an active duty population, but it can also involve reserve component or National Guard service members who are called to active duty for greater than 30 days. And it also includes the active duty commissioned officers for the Public Health Service and NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And what the SCRA does is caps pre-service loans, so those loans that have been entered into by the service member prior to them going on active duty, caps that at 6%. Now, for a while, that was not a particularly onerous cap, but in these higher interest times like we're seeing now, that can be crucial.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, we forget that during COVID, so many of our National Guard members were the ones who were on the front lines administering vaccines, setting up the testing sites and all of that. And I think sometimes we don't really remember that as well as maybe we should. So being able to cap the interest rates, is that across the life of the loan, or is that across the time that the individual is deployed?
It is, again, it is those loans that were entered into prior to the individual coming on active duty. It extends through that active duty portion, but then continues for a year afterwards.
Oh, good. Okay. So it gives time to readjust once you come home and get reestablished and all of those things before any changes to that interest rate can happen.
That's it, exactly. And it's not that those interest payments accrued, that cap exists while the service is in place.
Got it.
And there are also some areas of the Servicemember Civil Relief Act that give some additional protections about default judgments or foreclosures or repossessions of property that require court orders and don't allow a company just to step in while that service member is serving.
That makes sense because they would be deployed and may not necessarily even be in this country to be addressing these issues. So yeah, that totally makes sense. Now, you had mentioned that you also address complaints. Are there specific trends in complaints that service members or veterans may be reporting?
There are a fair number of complaints that have come to the Bureau. In fact, I think in the last year, the Bureau in total had about 1.1 or 1.2 million complaints. Of the service member population, we saw almost 66,400, just a little under 66,400 complaints. And that was a 55% increase from the year before. In the lifetime of the Bureau, about 11 years now, more than 300,000 complaints just in the service member, veteran, and military family umbrella have come to us.
And what kind of complaints do people have? Are you seeing like complaints about scams that are targeting our military members or our veterans?
Well, we do an annual report, and the annual report that we published this past spring listed the top 5 as credit reporting, which was more than half of all of the complaints that came into the service member population. So credit reporting, debt collection, credit card usage, checking and savings, and the 5th is on mortgages. But you mentioned frauds and scams. The fastest growing, and we highlighted this in our report, had to do with payment apps. So we've seen those a lot of growth there, and that is one of the fastest growing complaint areas. It didn't crack the top 5 for the amount of complaints that we got, but it was among the fastest growing. And we link that to areas like identity theft, which we see an increased risk in a service member population, frequent change of station. They have to maybe get a new local bank account, get a car loan. So they are more often availing themselves of opportunities for identity theft.
I like how you put that. availing themselves for more opportunities for identity theft. That sounds so
That's right.
nice.
Well,
That's awesome.
there seem to be no shortage of people out there who are willing to look for those gaps in the protections that service members have.
Those folks are working
And finally, in that
overtime.
area, that the companies and financial institutions fail to timely resolve, even when a service member has raised an issue to that company.
Okay. Wow. Now, when people who are serving, or maybe not necessarily just limited to veterans, but when people do accumulate debt, can the debt collectors put a garnishment or take part of federal benefits like Social Security or veteran benefit payments?
That's a terrific question, and it's one we hear a lot. And the the good news is that the short answer is only very rarely can those benefits, particularly Social Security and VA benefits, be garnished. In fact, that company would have to go to court twice: once to win a judgment, and the second to go to have a document that goes to the financial institutions to say that must be paid back. And
Okay.
as long as the service member or veteran has direct deposit, there are additional protections on the amount of money that can come out in a particular period in that account. So it can't go to a zero balance. They can't take all the money at once, that kind of thing.
Well, that's good. It's kind of scary too that they can take it. Are student loans one of those things that Social Security can be tapped into for repayment of federal student loans?
I will have to get back with you on an answer. I do not know
Okay.
that answer.
Yeah, and it might depend on who the lender is too, absolutely. So that's very interesting. I'm glad that they can't make it go to zero. That's really important. Now, if people do want those printed guides that I had mentioned, do you have resources that are available if, say, someone is helping another person manage their finances? So that military member is deployed, so maybe somebody here is like writing out the checks for them, or maybe they're, I don't know, hospitalized, things like that. Do you have any information or guidance on handling other people's money?
We do. In fact, the Bureau has what we think is an extensive list of helpful guides listed on our website at consumerfinance.gov. There's a listing for consumer education. And specifically to your question, under self, one of the choices there are things like buying a house and money as you grow, plan for college. But the one that you're talking about is helping loved ones manage money. And it's specific to your question about what to do if you are managing someone else's financial situation.
I would imagine keep a paper trail, document, document, document.
Absolutely. And I just want to point out that all of those resources that are available, they can be downloaded from the website. But more importantly, for anyone who does any kind of training or has a group that they're trying to help out, they can order those documents and they will be shipped directly. So not through the CFPB. They'll come directly from the government printing site in Pueblo, Colorado, to the provider at their location. So I think that's a most helpful contribution.
Yes, absolutely. And we have ordered and received, and they really are free of charge. Not even paying for shipping. Not sure what they do in Pueblo, Colorado, other than print stuff, but it is amazing. So if people need to reach out to CFPB, if they feel like they might have been targeted or they have complaints that they want to see if they can get resolution to, how can the public reach you?
There are a couple of ways that they can do it. So 24/7, and it is the easiest way, is to file that complaint at our website at consumerfinance.gov. But if someone does not want to do that online, they can always call toll-free number, 855-411-2375. That's 855-411-CFPB. And that is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, except holidays. And when they do call, there are more than 180 languages that are available. So we want to reach as wide a population as possible. So we should be able to communicate with everyone there. And finally, awesome. if those two areas don't work, the snail mail address is P.O. Box 27170, Washington, D.C. 20038.
So then people can write letters. I know sometimes for some folks, computers are not something that they grew up with. So doing things online is often a little more challenging than for other folks who were pretty much born with a cell phone in their hands. So
that's right. As ubiquitous as we think the web is, there are people who still do the snail mail. And if that works for them, if that's what they need to reach us, then by all means do that. It won't slow down the response.
Yeah, it's good that there are multiple ways and multiple languages. That is so important. And your handouts, the things that people can download and have mailed, also in all the languages too, right?
That's correct. Well, I don't know that the languages are all available for all of those productions. I know that they are in Spanish and several other language in the printed product.
That is awesome. I don't know that it's always always able to have every language available to print. And then again, there's also languages that are not printed languages as well. So I think being able to call and get a hold of the 855-411-2372 number, I think that's like so important to be able to do that, to get people connected. So with all of these things that you're doing, I am really grateful that you took the time to come on today. Any last tips or tricks for people to know?
Really, it is I just want to highlight, we talked about it, the complaint process. It is our aim to protect those consumers, and the better we do at identifying what the issues are out there and which companies are not following the rules, the better we can do in shaping the rules of the future and pursuing the bad actors. So get those complaints in.
That is awesome. And that is consumerfinance.gov is the first starting spot for the tech savvy. And then if not, it's the 855-411-2372.
That's correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today, Jim. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come on with us.
Yeah, but it was my pleasure, and look forward to doing it again sometime.
Absolutely. Happy to have you. Well, everybody, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau is a trusted resource for information. So you can reach out to them if you feel like there's something a little funny going on with finances, or if you're handling somebody else's finances and you just want to make sure that you're doing the right thing in the right way. Please don't hesitate to reach out to them. They are a great government organization that is easily accessible. So please take the time to reach out and check out their website. I am really glad that you all joined me here today. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Make sure you share, like, and all those social media things to let people know that they're missing out on some great information. And I look forward to seeing you again. In the meantime, be well and be kind.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.